hear me now? Okay, so we'll start this over. Yeah, my name is Brian Mueller. I have 13 years experience in enterprise content management, content services, and digital transformation. As I said, I've worked in this space for a long time, and I've helped companies transform their business from $444 million to $2.1 billion with digital transformation. So today we're going to go through the story of digital transformation. I started first with identifying a need for intelligent capture. With that, I then identified a need for business process automation. And then after that, I identified a need for what's known as robotic process automation. So Gartner and a lot of associations have said that enterprise content management is dead. It's now about content services, really, which is the culmination of all the tools together. It's not just store and compare, it's about putting it together and creating true change in your business. So there's a speaker, her name is Mel Robbins, and she has a thing called the 5-second rule. And it's about resetting your mind so that you're willing to be open to change. So we all go 1, 2, 3, 4 at 5, and nothing changes. But if you reset your mind by changing your pattern, so 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, change can happen. And so that's Mel Robbins. I would highly suggest if you've never seen it, you should check out her work. So basically, every 3 to 5 years, we work as a group to update a strategy map of where we're going from a platform perspective. So when we started looking at that, I started exploring artificial intelligence. I started exploring how that may be a solution to streamlining business, right? 90% of our business prior to today, let's say, is what we call swivel chair, right? You take information from one place, you put it in another place, right? Well, what if you can transform that so you're no longer doing that, right? So when we chose our RPA solution, because it marries well with the existing content service platforms at Java, that's where I implemented digital transformation. So when you look at the space, Forrester has a magic quadrant model, and there are a lot of vendors in this space. A lot of those vendors charge per robot, basically, on an annual basis. So it's a subscription service. With the way we went with our model was a one-time purchase. So it was very cost effective, right? One-time costs rather than paying for robotic worker annually. So the outcomes have been extremely beneficial. Our data entry time has been transformed from days into minutes. For example, in this example, 35,000 rows of data would take 3 days before, and now it takes 3 minutes. So I want to put this in context. So this is part of a billing process. So we work with an outside servicer. They send us a bill every month that needs to be reconciled, all right? That takes a month for 4 people to do. It's one full-time headcount, but it's spread across 4 people. This is 30 sheets of data with potentially 100,000 rows of information per sheet. That was then being swivel chaired from Excel into an Access database, right? That takes weeks of time. And then how do you compare it to get your deltas so that you can charge back if it's an incorrect cost, right? Using RPA, we can take 30 sheets of data and in 13 minutes put it in a database, which then can have a comparison model, right? So in other cases, we have a lot of processes that require website access, right? So we're going out to websites and we are pulling data. I can spend 2 to 3 hours just to pull claim information, right? Because I've got to get the claim information, and then I have to input it into another system, right? I then have to generate the artifact of that claim, which is a document, right? So using robotic process automation, we can automate the login and collection of all the data. So what would take normally 3 hours or 2 hours can take now 20 to 30 seconds. That is pretty impressive, right? And there's no swivel chair because this is a robot talking to a database, which then can talk to another database and put it out into a UI that is one single point of access, right? So this is a hard part for a lot of organizations. Whenever you're developing a program, well, let's start with that. Most organizations look at everything as a project, right? Well, I got this one project here, I gotta get it done, and then it's done, and then I'm done with that project. The thing is there's no mental concept that project really is part of an overlying larger thing, which is a program, right? And programs are never done. So if you don't have an enterprise content management program, or if you don't have a content services program, or digital transformation program, That's where this concept comes in mind that you need to start considering, right? Developing what's called a center of excellence, right? It's a cross-functional team that leads the development and implementation of the technology, right? So we all get our organization, it's people, process, and then technology, but you all have some systems or multiple systems that you're using to implement, let's say, improvement, right? Right, so if you pull these together with integration, right, and you pull in the right people. So a lot of times, IT is driving technical initiatives, right? The power of RPA and the power of digital transformation is it doesn't have to be your IT group that's driving the transformation. So in our case, our user base is actually what's driving the transformation. The woman who built our robot is a senior portfolio analyst with no IT technical background whatsoever. And she's a lead of that center of excellence, right? So it's really about looking at this as it's a program and not a project, right? And involving everyone you can. So what you do is you start with the benefits. You start with automating simple, repetitive, non-thinking tasks. How many people are doing data entry, right? We don't need secretary pools anymore. It's a ridiculous waste of time. It's not empowering our users. Now, the big challenge here is your user base is going to be afraid. They're going to say, I'm going to lose my job. What else am I going to do? Well, I'm going to give you the power to make a decision, right, instead of just typing data, right? So it's quick to develop. You provide immediate ROI and time savings just alone, just time savings, right? If I'm taking a process that took 4 people 3 weeks and I'm turning it in 13 minutes, don't you think that's a huge ROI? That's a huge ROI. Robot authors start looking at an improving process. It's a great process re-engineering tool. And your robot authors, they should be the business users, not your IT staff, right? The business users know their process. They've been doing it day in, they've been doing it day out. This tool is so intuitive that somebody with no technical background can learn SQL on their own through these tools. And everybody looks at, oh my God, SQL is such a daunting thing, but it's so user-friendly, right? Robot users can focus on their jobs and not repetitive, repeatable, mindless tasks. The cross-functional team organically spreads benefits and excitement of RPA throughout the organization. So literally, after we implemented with this business portfolio analysts, other business analysts in their business units started adopting to this program and getting involved in this process. Now, automate them. There are use cases in every single business unit, literally. So, when we were meeting with Rico Japan as well as IRPA, a lot of people were talking about when they build a standard robot, it's a simple workflow, something like that, you know. It'll loop through things, it'll query database, all that stuff. That's a standard robot, right? Okay? That's where the complexity comes in. I need notification services. I need checks and balances. I need ways to Q&A. So literally, the opportunity, and this again was done by a senior portfolio analyst with no IT knowledge. This thing is literally looping through 30 sheets of data, pulling 100,000 rows per sheet, and it's checking for valid and invalids, right? So some rows are empty. Some rows are not necessary. I can put in the logic that's required to say, if it says this, don't do anything with it. If it says that, pull it back, right? Then send me an email notification at the end of that opportunity, right? Execute row data, store in database, all of this stuff was originally being done from Access or from Excel into Access manually, right? This is all being done automatically. And then there's all your notification, you know, get my row tracking data, right? Send message content, send an email body, all of that done without any human intervention whatsoever, right? So that's a powerful thing that I can do this and I can get the right people to know, okay, my data is available, I can now start doing my decision, right? So, this is a single family loan process, okay, from origination or marketing, origination, fulfillment, and servicing. So class 1 is RPA. Class 2 is learning. Learning is that intelligent capture, right? So the ability to automatically classify, to automatically separate contents, right? And then the last one is reasoning. So that's where you're actually doing, you know, big data, you know, extraction, pulling content off of items so you can deliver directly to a line of business without human intervention, right? So in our single family process, we've automated some of the data entry elements so that they're getting right off the content through the intelligent capture platform, right? And if you look at this map, about 75% of it is RPA. So from validating client needs, requesting initial documents, preparing docs in a line of business, or loan origination system, analyze closing package, calculate escrow. All of those things are opportunities for robotic process automation. This is just one business unit. So I think you guys represent a multitude of business units, and how many different organizations exist within your organization, right, that have the potential for opportunity. So really what my suggestion is that you take this power with you and you explore all avenues of where it can really make an impact in your business, right? So for me, it's the strategy of looking not only across your business units, but off the technology stack and where I can potentially implement these changes, right? So in our organization, single family, multifamily, small business, asset management, tax credit, HR, accounting, marketing, community development, legal risk management, all of those are all business units that have the ability to use import connectors, extraction services, robotic process automation, right? And that's for capture integration. Internal system integration includes line of business systems, robotic process automation, and your business process automation through business process management, right? And then what are your external opportunities as well? As I said earlier, that we were going out to external sites, right? Using robots to get the data analytics that we need to compare and do our business. And so that external opportunity, right? Robotic process automation. If you're getting content shipped to you in the mail, right? Why not build an electronic delivery platform so that it doesn't have to come in the mail, unless it's a required document, right? Why not digitize the entire process? In our organization, I'd say 2010, 98% of our content was coming in paper form. Within 2 years of creating digital transformation, we were able to transform that to 98% coming in electronically. Doesn't that make an impact on your business? Saving our vendors, our lenders, our partners, starting out at $100,000 to now over $1 million a year. And that's mostly even in shipping costs, right? Because a lot of you, it's all about how long does it take to get there. You don't go to Burger King and say, I want to wait 5 hours for my burger. You go and want fast food, right? Well, all service should be fast. It should be fast, it should be consumable, it should be friendly, right? Because at the end of the day, the client, the partner, whoever it is, all they care about is the decision you make to help them do their business, to help them execute their decisions, right? So really, it's about towards a new engine, okay? So in the past, everything was disparate, right? Business intelligence, document management, forms processing, business rules, workflow. Well, the industry got better, right? And so we were able to start bundling things. So business intelligence still out there on its own. Enterprise content management, now a bundle of things like document management, forms processing. And then business process automation, right? That business rules and workflow engine. Well then, basically, we're moving toward now the big package, which is business process automation, right? With that business intelligence arm, being able to leverage my analytics. So what we do with the data is we also have our internal systems, which have a warehouse, right? And so we have data that we think should be there. Then we get the bill. We pull all the information out. We put it in the database. We then run the comparison between the two systems, and then we get the delta, right? But instead of a human being having to do that, that can be done in a half an hour. So that I am now empowering my user base to make decisions, because all they have to look at is the delta and challenge that. And then using an out-facing UI, we can then share that information automatically with our partners so that they can say, okay, I see the delta that was automatically generated without a human being even intervening. And then they can challenge or accept that delta, right? And the communication is two ways. So going back to this slide, I have that total partner integration because I now have an interface using digital transformation to do two-way communication without a single human being even being involved, but people automatically knowing there's work to be done and a decision to be made, right? So, I'm a little ahead of schedule. I'm a fast talker, so I'm hoping you guys will have a lot of questions. But user experience, it's the month end, right? I got 100,000 line item bill, which is looming in my inbox, daring me to open it. Relent, take a deep breath, and just before my 3-week swivel chair process begins, a robot icon appears on my desktop. You select the icon, it prompts me for a bill month year or bill year, and press it again. Watch and amaze in less than 20 minutes, my task is at its end. Thank you, robot process engineers, you made my week, right? That's what this story is all about. Is if you can do this for anyone, you know, and take away these redundant, non-profitable things, you can empower them, you can make them the decision makers they need to be. And then they will become more powerful within your organization, creating transformation, right? We're all about continuous improvement, you know, that continuous movement. And if we're not, then we're, you know, not thinking in the future. So, but if you can give your user base the ability to transform the way they do business, they'll be more engaged, they'll be more apt to deliver, and they'll have a larger impact on your customers, right? Whoever that is. So people say, who's your customer? And a lot of times it's targeted. Like, oh, my customer's this or my customer's that. No, the answer to who's your customer is everybody's your customer, right? So if you're a business leader and you have staff, they're your customer just as well as anybody else, right? And if you don't want to give them tools to empower them to move forward in the future, well, then you're holding them back and you're not serving the customer. And so, really, digital transformation is possible in any way. And I, Brian Mueller, am very happy to help any one of you create that digital transformation. So, as I said, I'm a little faster than I'm supposed to be, because I'm supposed to get out of an hour and only took 21 minutes. Yes. Oh, yes. Anyone have any questions? Don't be shy. Yes. Hold on, he's going to bring the mic over.
Oh, okay. So how do you were talking about the mail that you were getting?
Yep.
Paper mail.
Yep.
How would you say, because I work a lot with the USCIS, a government entity, which we all know has become famous over the last couple of years. We still deal with getting mail from them constantly. And is there any way that you guys work with that kind of situation?
Yeah, we do. I mean, so in my previous role, I actually ran the mailroom, and you know, with intelligent and advanced capture, we would open the mail and we would be able to send it through. So what you do is you develop a model of your documents. And so there's some organizations that are just not willing to change, right? Especially if you're dealing with government, right? But you can empower your mailroom even, right, to become intelligent by putting in the right tools, right, and creating an intelligent model that can capture all of that. And we call that first mile solutions, right? Because you're the first mile, right? If you create a first mile solution that empowers your mailroom, right, to be more than just mail clerks, right, but actually digital transformationists, then, and we, Logic, there are the tools out there. I mean, I literally built one of the best mortgage models in the country that people have come from all over to ask me about, including Rico, Japan. I just helped close a deal with Minneapolis Public Housing Authority. I've done references for Oppenheimer, right? And it's really about, are you willing, are you ready to take on transforming your first mile? Because if you transform your first mile, every mile behind it will truly be impacted. So, and we got so good, right, that we processed 85% of all content in 15 minutes or less, which means within, let's say, a half an hour, a business analyst or a business analyst or somebody, a user, will get a flag in their line of business system saying you have content to work on. We didn't have to tell them. In the past, we would have to notify them, right? Now it's built in as a direct integration into the line of business, so that I get it in the mailroom, it's in 15 minutes or less, and it's literally out there being decisioned on. And at the same point, we're also taking actual living content off of that so that the person who would normally be data entry, and we're extracting it directly off that mail or whatever, and putting it directly into the line of business system. So that's an intelligent motion. Does that help?
Yes.
Okay. I'm here all day, so you got, any questions? Don't be shy. Yes.
Can you explain?
Hold on.
Can you please explain the repository
Yes.
that you either had or improved on to put the robotic process within, please?
Yeah. So let me go back. Right, so most organizations, if you don't have one, you need an enterprise content management system, right? So in our case, we used a back-end system called Highlands OnBase, which was also a partner and can also provide services in that area as well. So that's the back-end repository, but you literally can create a repository anywhere. You know what I mean? It just depends on your needs, but you have to have a dedicated repository. And so if you don't have a repository, well then, that's the starting point, right? You got to get that. And what's nice about the Highland product is a point-click configurable product. So it's so easy. Again, when I started, I was a help desk guy, right? And then they saw something in me and said, "Oh, I want you to be a business analyst. We have this program that's starting to fail, or a project that's starting to fail." I knew nothing about enterprise content when I started, right? But within 2 years, our backfile conversion was complete for the entire enterprise. So all the stuff we stored in file rooms and all these other places was now immediately available, right? So things that would take 5 minutes or 12 minutes to find can be found in 1 to 3 seconds, right? That's an immediate ROI as well. Yes, it took time to do the conversion, but if you have people like me, then it's a very easy, seamless process. The biggest challenge really is not the conversion itself, but it's the adoption. Right? Getting your user base to adopt to it, right? So for me, I invest myself. Literally, I spent 6 months, 7 months, 8 months, 9 months during the conversion process, sitting with each and every user. Now, not some organizations that may not all be possible, but if you can build a champion in your business units to take on that role, well, then the adoption becomes much better. And that is not, while it's not a direct ROI from a cost perspective, that's the soft ROI. And that's a real big impact. Because you get so much more when they are involved and engaged, instead of when they feel they're being left behind and then they just have to deal with it. Does that help? Yeah.
I'd like to learn a little bit more about some of the machine learning.
Yes.
I'm with money transmitters. We're doing millions of transactions. We're getting tens of thousands of suspicious activity on a daily basis. Right now we're very manual looking at all that stuff. So I'm interested in how machine learning can maybe help us and make some of the easy decisions for us and kind of grow.
Okay, well, so that's really where we have really a great sense of, that's where we're one of the strongest our resources are. So machine learning, again, it's a lot like intelligent capture. You have to get a sample base, build a model, right? But then what you can do is once you build that model, you can create full-page OCR, right? We all know what OCR is, right? And then you can build intelligence around that. So with transformation or total agility, which are 2 products that we currently partner with, those tools, both of those tools, have the intelligence for learning and reasoning, right? So again, you have to have that tool base to help you. And then you obviously need someone who's an expert, like within your business, to say, these are the requirements. This is what I need, right? So with us, we sat with the business owners, and they said, I need all of this information because this is what we're putting into the line of business system by ourselves. Once you have those requirements, you can use the learning and reasoning tools to build the intelligence, to do the extraction, and then feed it any system you want.
Will it learn as it's going?
It does have
suspicious activity changes.
It does have the ability to, so there's what's called knowledge, there's a knowledge-based learning tool. So, and there's like several modules it goes through. There's first the scan module, right? Then it goes through a classification module and a separation module. Then it goes in front of someone else, a human being, because there's no perfect model, right? But what we built, even after the human being, 99.876%. That's like 6 sigma in accuracy. Then you go into an extraction, which where you're getting that intelligence that you're looking for. Then it goes back to a human being to validate that. So that way, if you have suspicious activity or if you have something, put that business rule in there. It'll automatically be seen before it ever gets released to any content provider that you need. So there are human touch points. There always will be. You want them, right? And that's where that you could use the machine learning and the reasoning and compare it to someone who has the intelligence outside of the machine world. But that work is far less time than it would be to have it go all the way through and then someone just doing it on the stereo.
Right, and that's what I need, because I mean, my business is expected to grow 4x by this time next year. So yeah, my business is expected to grow 4x by this time next year. I can't keep hiring 100, 200 people at a time to deal with this, so.
So that goes back to 444 million. That was our standard every single year, right? So from 444 million, 777 million, then 1.5 billion, and then 2.1 billion. All of that with a 170-person company, and I only had 11 staff. And there was no growth. But that volume continued to come in. And literally, as I said before, 85% of it is hitting the business for decision making in 15 minutes or less. That's a powerful tool because you're waiting how long for your process to execute? Hours. Exactly, right? I took a process that took days, right? The loan file would come in and it could sit for 3 days or whatever. And I literally turned it into 15 minutes. And this is all with this technology stack, right? All of it. These tools marry very well together. They play very well together, right? It's just a matter of whether you're willing to dedicate the resources, make the investment. You know, it can seem kind of daunting at times because, you know, initial costs for some things can cost fairly decent penny, right? Overall, over the course of, the last 13 years, we've invested maybe $14 million. Okay, $14 million in a tool set compared to $2.1 billion, that's less than a percentage of direct cost. If you don't, you know, that's where this really comes down to. But it's about, again, are you willing to change? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, change. Is your organization willing to change? If you're not willing to change, well, then keep doing what you're doing. But if you want to see your business process go from days to minutes, digital transformation.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. This time, I'm going to turn it